Today, we are testing the largest car Hyundai makes. The Ioniq 9 should have been called the Ioniq Massive because at 5.06 meters long, it is huge. In this video, we're gonna find out how far it can go on a full charger battery at a constant 120 kph or 75 miles an hour. We'll also be testing the accuracy of the route planner as well as measuring road noise and more in today's test. Before we continue this video, I just want to ask you guys a small favor, which is completely free and takes you 2 seconds, and that is subscribing to the channel. More than 80% of you who are watching my videos aren't subscribed, and I would really appreciate your support in my mission to make this one of the best EV testing channels here on YouTube. And for example, the manufacturers really care about subscriber count and view count. I don't care that much because I just really love what I do, and I get the chance to, for example, come here to China and drive this before much of the Western media, and that is just awesome. But the more subscribers I have, the more events, the more launches, and more test drives like this I will be invited to, which means more and better and earlier content for you guys. So thanks a lot for your support this far, but if you aren't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button because I would really appreciate it. Now on with the video. I don't think I've ever had the camera mounted so far away from me that stretching my arm, I'm not even close to touching the lens. There we go. I have to bend over quite a bit to be able to reach over. That is how wide the Ioniq 9 is. This is also a very long vehicle and also a very tall vehicle. I think this is the biggest electric car I have driven here on the channel. And this is probably the biggest, it's not the biggest one. The Ford F-150 Lightning is even bigger. But you know, trucks aside, pickups aside, commercial vehicles aside, this is the largest passenger vehicle I've driven here on the channel, and it is big, and it feels big, it feels heavy on the road. There's no hiding the size and the mass of this car. But for the most part, I really do like the Ioniq 9. I like Hyundai. I mean, coming from the Xlantix ET, which lacks a lot of buttons, I'm glad to report that we have, you know, buttons for your adaptive cruise control, your AWD features over here. You have your media here. You have window switches, mirror switches, memory settings for your seats. You have heated seats, heated steering wheel. You have shortcut buttons. You have drive modes down here. Yeah, applause Hyundai for sticking to the buttons game. And this is testament to why that is good, because this car is so easy to get into. Everything just falls to your fingertips. It's just a breeze. Also, cabin quality is pretty nice. This is the top spec calligraphy model with these, you know, beautiful vegan leather seats. This black, you know, silver trim is maybe a little bit old school, but I do like it. And also, this is one of the quietest cars we've ever tested here on the channel. More on that at the end of the video. And it's also very comfortable. You have a great high seating position, and it is a big but, and this is one of the things I really hate about this car, and that's why I wanted to talk about, you know, the positives first, is the route planner and the navigation. Please, Hyundai, give us a refreshed navigation system, because the route planner here is just terrible. It looks old, it's slow, it keeps on the loading screen for far too long, and it is so cumbersome and hard to use. You don't have your arrival percentage here readily available, and just to put in waypoints, it's just super hard and cumbersome to use. I spent like the better part of 10 minutes after I started driving to put in our destination and also our waypoint to give you guys, you know, the estimated arrival percentage. It is so hard to use. So yeah, it is such a contrast to everything else here, which works pretty fine. Even the infotainment in of itself, not the very best, but it is easy and logical to use. But this route planner is pretty terrible. So after about 26 minutes on the road, our average consumption is 25.3 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. And we also have a tailwind of 3 to 4 meters in the northeastward direction. And conditions today, 13 to 12 degrees Celsius with dry roads. We had a small shower, 2-3 minutes. We're not even gonna count it because it doesn't matter, but hopefully the weather's gonna stay like this because it's been cloudy today, but now the skies have cleared. Like in every range test, I like to just give you guys a very short brief on my experience with the advanced driver assistance system. So like auto steer, adaptive cruise control, etc, etc. And in this car, like in every Hyundai or Kia, it is flawless. It just works, easy operation with the buttons there, everything is logically laid out, and there's a little bit of like correction in the lane, like you can see. You can't see it now, but it's a little bit of, you know, just minimal amount of like bouncing, I would call it, where it's just like correcting itself like that, but it's nothing too severe, and it's not even annoying. It's just you notice it if you look down at the steering wheel sometimes. And also no nervousness while passing cars and trucks, and also in the right lane while passing exits and on ramps. There's no nervousness at all, so it just works very nicely, like in every Hyundai Kia product I've driven in the past few years. The past few cars I've tested, the predicted arrival percentage in the wrap planners has been way off. And therefore, I'm happy to report that the car predicted we'd arrive here with 52% state of charge, and we are here with 52% state of charge. Bravo, Hyundai. Okay, so here at our halfway point, our average consumption is now at 26.6 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers as we turn south on the E6 motorway and head into a headwind. So I'm not too optimistic about this car getting good efficiency today. Not at all. We're now approaching our endpoint where we started earlier today, and I'm happy to report that no issues at all. This car is a pleasure to drive. Once we set, you know, the wrap planner, it was good to go. That was the only fiddly thing, but the car has been flawless. Such a nice car to take on a long trip. This has the upgraded Bose sound system, and it sounds great. Okay, we are here at the chargers, and let's go and choose one on the far end so we're as far away from people as possible, and choose this one over here. And the route planner may have been a nightmare to set our navigation waypoints, but it's pretty accurate. We're here with 28% stated charge, and the car predicted 29 when we left here earlier. So not 100% accurate, but that is a lot better than cars we've tested recently. So the Ioniq 9, I had to move the car because I completely misjudged where the charge port was. It's here on the passenger side, all the way on the rear fender, and it is such a long car I actually had to move it again. So we've now started the charger here, and then let's connect. Yeah, it should be a good enough distance for the cable, not optimal though. So taking a little bit of time to initialize. So this has a peak charge speed of 250 kilowatts. This has a much bigger battery pack than the EV9. I think the EV9 is like 96 kilowatt hours usable. This is 106 kilowatt hours usable, and we are now connected, and we are now initialized, and we are now charging. Okay guys, it looks like we are hitting a plateau here, or maybe it's gonna give us a little bit more juice. 190 is climbing slowly. 187, 30% state of charge. Maybe it will hit 200. I'm not sure. Again, I have no idea what the charge curve of this car is, and also we have not preconditioned the battery because we don't do that in this test. This test is all about getting, you know, the maximum efficiency, and that means not spending any energy to heat up the battery. So this is just the charge speed after driving a few hours on the road with today's conditions. Before we go through the results of the range test, let's take a look at our noise test measurements done at 80, 100, and 120 kilometers an hour. So at every speed, we do at least 2 measurements over 2 minutes each, and we average that out. So at 80 kilometers an hour, 2 measurements over 2 minutes each averages out to 59.75 decibels. At 100 kilometers an hour, we did 3 measurements, 2 minutes each, for an average of 62 decibels. And at 120 kilometers an hour, we did 2 measurements for an average of 65.5 decibels. And if I'm not mistaken, that is the lowest measurement we've done in any car on summer tires. But as always, this is just our objective testing I do here with my laptop. I have a calibrated microphone and proper software. We also have to take into account the subjective experience, because sound isn't only objective, sound is very subjective depending on the ear that is listening. And also, we only do decibel measurements, so we don't do, you know, frequency responses, or the frequency of the room at different frequencies. So we're just getting, you know, the overall sound pressure. In my opinion, I think the Volvo EX90 subjectively is quieter, but objectively with instrumented testing it is not. So that is very interesting. I just think the tire noise in the EX90 is so well suppressed. It is like a sensory deprivation tank. It is so nice sound insulated. But this is also very, very good, I think. And also, depending on the person who is testing these cars, you may have a different experience. So let's jump into the results. So at 120 kilometers an hour, we had an average consumption of 26.6 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. So when we do the calculations, we take the usable battery pack of this car, which is 106 kilowatt hours. We divide it by the consumption, 26.6 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, and then subtract 3% for heat loss and discharging losses. That gives us a theoretical range under today's conditions of 387 kilometers, which is a little bit more than what we managed in the EV9 all-wheel drive we tested earlier this year. That was a little bit better conditions, though there was even a stronger wind that day. It was a little bit warmer. I think 19 degrees, which was the average temperature that day, is a little bit better for running a range test than today's average of around 13.5 degrees or something like that. So there isn't much in it, but this car is not as efficient. Higher consumption, that car did 25.3 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, though under better conditions. Both of these two cars, not the most efficient, and I think the Volvo EX90, if I'm going to look at my chart here, I tested that a whole bunch of times, is actually more efficient, even though those runs were maybe done in even a little bit better conditions, warmer. We have, for example, let's take the Volvo EX90 here, the twin, not the twin performance, the twin motor, 20 degrees Celsius, dry roads. That car had an average consumption of 24 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. And with a little bit bigger battery pack size than this, that car manages 432 kilometers of range. So people have, you know, been giving the EX90 bad mouthing because it's not that efficient, but all large electric SUVs aren't that efficient. And I think that goes to show that that EX90 is actually pretty darn good. And also, this isn't that bad, but I was hoping it would be at least as efficient, or maybe even more efficient, as the EV9, due to this shape being rounder in appearance at least. So guys, let me know what you think of the results of the Ioniq 9 in the comment section down below. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please drop me a thumbs up down below. And for more car content, as always, please subscribe. See you guys later, and goodbye.